Alright, so we watched Land of the Lustrous, episodes 6, 8, and 11. I guess to kick this off, what do you guys think I thought of this show?
I think you think it's very pretty.
I think it's very pretty, but I think you like it, but it's not in, like, your top 10 or top 20. I think you're just like, it's neat. Or, yeah, I guess.
Okay. No, this breaks top 10.
Okay.
This is number 9. So, number 9
Burger
in my
King
top 10.
gem lettuce.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, this is I think the first time we did a top 10 when it was in my top 10. So,
yeah.
Pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so, I guess we can just go right into it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, I'm reading my notes again and I'm like, oh god, what the fuck is this?
Then write better notes.
Okay. Episode 6. It's the titles come up, first battle. We cut to someone's legs running through grass. Oh boy, it's Breath of the Wild, they're at the edge of a cliff. Whoa. And now we see cut to someone else being chased. Someone with macaroni hair being chased by cloud people. The first person we were following with the bluish greenish hair is running somewhere, and they look behind him, and there's a bald dude and 2 other people. And then we cut to someone else, and the cloud people I don't know, they're attacking or some shit. Don't know what's going up. Someone gets fucking killed by the cloud people, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? I don't actually know. I'm legitimately confused. And then bald dude goes like, achoo, and scares the moon people away. Then we cut to some stuff happening, and like the macaroni hair is like talking about, oh, this person's young and I'm old because I'm cautious and I run away instead of fighting, and it's like scooping up some sort of gooey blood type stuff.
No, she's applying like a glue type thing to put her back together.
Okay, I was wondering what the fuck that was. I was like, is that like blood or something? Because it looks exactly like her, and she's like digging it inside her. I don't know. And then the science gem, who I'm just gonna call the science gem, is like, hey yo, it's late. Go to fuck sleep. And then Macaroni Hair, who I believe is called Yellow Diamond or something, like looks out and is like, oh my god, someone's missing. I gotta go get them. And it's like Foss, and they run out, and it's like, oh, they didn't run away. They're just running because they can't stop running. And Foss is like, oh, it's my legs. I can't control them. I'm going too fast. And Macaroni Hair is like, it's alright, I'll catch you. And she's like, are you sure? I'm gonna crack you. She's like, no, you should respect your elders. And she flips and grabs the fast running girl by her bathrobe and holds her in front of her, and then drops her very slightly, and then she cracks. And it's like, oh, okay. Don't know what happened there. And then it cuts to like her talking with the big bald dude and the science girl and this eager legs girl, and they're all like, I don't know, you can't go into battle because you can't control her. Your potential's high, but you can't control anything. You're too much of a risk. And she's like, but I want to fight. Give me a blade. And the bald dude's like, okay, give her the lightest blade we have, and hands it to her. And she's like, I can grab it, and then immediately drops it on the ground because it's too heavy. And they're like, your legs have improved, but your arms aren't strong. She's like, but I'm gonna practice every day. I want to do it. I want to fight. And they're like, why do you want to fight so bad when you know you're not fit for it? And she's just like, cause I love you, bald man. And the other two are like, what? And she's like, wait, don't you guys love him? And they're like, I mean, yeah, but you're not meant to say it. And then he's like, okay, you can go fight the moon with Amethyst. And then they're like, okay, Foss lost their legs, so, like, it's something about, like, losing part of them makes them lose memories as well, which I take I take some grievance with. It's like, that's not how memories work, but whatever.
Well, you have to think these aren't humans either.
I know, but it's like,
I'll
my memory...
I'll explain their genetic makeup.
No,
after
I know what it is, but like to me, whenever someone is like that, whenever something is like that in like a piece of media, it's like, I've lost this, which means I've lost this piece of my memory. It's like, oh, so if I chop off my pinky finger, I lose the memory of the Taco Bell Crunchywrap. It's like, because that's where the memory of that is stored within me, in my pinky. It's like, that's not how memory works, but whatever. Anyway. They're like, okay, you can pair up with Amethyst, and Amethyst was like, I don't know, it's hard being in a pair already, like, fighting with 3 people is pretty tough, especially when one person doesn't even know how to fight, and then it looks like they split into 2 people, but they didn't. There's just a second person next to them, and they're also an Amethyst, and they're like twins, and, this is when we learn, very important, gems of the same type can slam against each other and not crack, but it's pretty cringe when they do it. Anyway, Foss goes to sleep and dreams of some weird girl, and then Amethyst wakes him up and dresses them, and she's like, but I don't want to wake up, I've got to go do some stuff, and then they're like, we got a meeting. They go to the meeting, and everyone's like, okay, you got to go look out for the Moonies. And this is when I didn't know what was going on, so I was like, okay, Lunarians, are they moon people, or are they fighting the moon itself? Like, what is going on here? I'm just gonna call them the Moonies from here on out, because it's funny. And they're like, okay, you're gonna go patrol over here, Amethyst and Foss, and so they go over there, and the Amethyst is like, ooh, these crabs are cute, there's a jellyfish, let's put it in the water, and Foss the entire time is like, shit scared and nervous, and is like, I want to do well, and is like holding a sword out and is like swinging, and is like, I want to do this. I'm confused the entire time. I'm like, okay, I kind of get what's going on now. I'm figuring it out. And then Foss just passes the fuck out because they were tired and nervous the entire time. And then my internet cut out for a bit, but then I came back and it was like, okay, nothing of consequences happened because it's just the next day's patrol, and Foss was on the ground passed out again, and it's like, uh-oh, moon people have arrived now, and they're going to attack, and I was like, oh wait, no, it's not moon people, it's just a Rorschach test, and then it's like, oh wait, no, it is moon people, and so Amethyst go in and they slissy slicey and oh, it's a Punji as well playing in the background and and it's like Amethyst is like, we did it, but they didn't go poof. Where was the earth shattering poof? And then suddenly, Amethyst just got fucked up by crocodile jaws, crunchy.
Mm-hmm. Crunchy.
They're dead, and they tell Foss to run, and Foss is just like reaching arm out like ah. And then some other gems come and pick up Amethyst pieces, and then Sensei Dude comes and goes, achoo, and blows the moon away. And then the other gem, who in future we learn their name is Bort, which, you know...
Bort!
Goes like, yo, Foss, what the fuck did you do? Why didn't you do anything? And that was the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That sure was the first episode, huh? Or the first one we watched.
The sixth episode.
Yeah.
First episode.
Yeah, I was, like, confused for the majority of it. I was like, okay, what's the point of this? What is happening? So, and it's like, okay, we're clearly following this character.
Yeah. So I'm normally with you, though, on the memory thing. But with how they're built, because they're not just one organism, they're a bunch of microorganisms that end up making up one organism. So it makes sense that if you lose some of those, you're going to lose what those had stored in them.
Are you saying, theoretically, their memory of P is actually stored in the balls?
Yes.
If they had genitals, yes. They probably don't, though, I would assume.
You don't know.
But, yeah, I mean, you're right. I don't know. But yeah, so that's how they're made up. So, like, I'm fine with it in this sense. I'm fine with them losing parts of themselves, make it, like, they're literally losing parts of themselves just because of how they're made up genetically. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, I understand it. I don't think this is a case of it where it's like, it doesn't make sense, because you're right, it is like microorganisms. Right. And that makes sense within the context of it. It just reminded me of like all the times in other stuff when it's like, I've forgotten this because this portion of my brain is missing, or like...
Right.
Yeah, it's always annoying.
I get that. I get that. And I think with this series in particular, it's kind of important to, because obviously a big portion of this is the idea of like changing as a person, and to be able to show like physical changes also, I think helps. I mean,
we see the physical changes in the main character. Quite a bit.
Oh, you very much see them, yes. So that also helps with it.
I tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm getting some major influences of Hinduism in this as well. Like, not just in the aesthetic of the Moon People, but like kind of the philosophy of like of these crystal people and how they not only live, but like the way they live.
Mm-hmm. Buddhism. It's Buddhism. Buddhism. Even to the point where the dog had 108 parts to it, which is like the 108 like things of humanity.
I didn't Buddhism.
Even like literally.
That didn't even
like it is
click with me because I was so focused on my internet at the time.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, it is very in your face. Here's some Buddhism for you. It goes hard into it. I'm glad that you pointed that out, though. I'm really glad. Anyway, next episode, dear.
Hi, I'm here. So we...
Dear exists.
Okay, yes, I do. Thank you for noticing. We see a flashback about someone biting something off, and Fuss has, like, a really big sword now, and they're also on ice, and it's all weird. And there's a hole that's talking to them about Cinnabar, and then they fall into the water, and a white-haired character pulls them out of the ice, and their arms are broken, so that sucks. And their sword is sinking to the bottom, and so they jump in the water and go after it. But then they also lose a hand while swimming, and they also lose Foe's hands and sink to the bottom. And his name is Antarcticite.
Yeah.
They report in that Foss lost their arm, and Leader is like, huh? And Antark is like really upset and gets a hug, and Foss tries to comfort them, and they're used to their arms being gone, and they strike a pose, and then they have no material to fit Foss apparently, so they go to a shore to search for it to find new arms for themselves. So they and Antarctic head out. And the snow is really bad, and Art helps them up when they fall down, but not really, because they're totally not tsundere. And they show up at a mountain that's like cut in half, but also by the ocean. And there's gyms and things that form in this mountain. And then one gets burst out of the mountain hole, which is very sloppy.
Mountain birth hole!
Yes. And Faust doesn't seem to remember much of anything. And Arctic does this, like, blow a whole bunch of snow away thing that reveals a whole bunch of gold and platinum everywhere. But it's too heavy and too malleable to use as arms. So let's just stick it on you temporarily, see how it goes. We'll go from there. And it's really heavy, but then the sun starts to shine a lot, and the sky clears, and then the gold gets all liquidy and shit, and, like, starts fucking them up. And then the fucking Sky Moon People thing opens up again above them, and Rorschach tests everything while False is being fucking assaulted by gold. Antark is really confused and is now being attacked, and we see Baldy now also headed towards them to go help them. There's a whole bunch of moon people bowing to him outside of the school thing. School thing. And he's like, huh, you're trying to stop me. And Antarctic is doing some fucking work. And he's like, it's that new kind of Apex Legends. Wow. And then Foss is on the side covered in honey, and it's really goopy. And Antarc's arm cracks, and apparently the bald man is captured while Antarc loses an arm, and it's sucked into the Rorschach test, and he's like, no, I want it back, and he goes insane for a while and tries to get it back. And there's a whole point where he's trying to pull on the cables of the Rorschach test, and instead of him breaking, in the end, it literally just rips the thing off, like, in half. And it's fine. Everyone's fine. He made it go boom, and then he also went boom.
He nearly dies.
He also went boom.
No, he didn't. Well, okay. Yeah.
He went a little boom. There's some pieces everywhere.
Small boom. Little boom.
And he seems okay, and Foss is calling out, and they're trapped in, like, this cube of gold now, and they're like, help, I don't know how to get out. And they're like, okay, well, let me just, like, smack on this gold for a while before I get you, and he's shot through the neck with an arrow and shatters. And Foss does, like, a scream, and he's like, no, shh, be quiet. And then the gold puts all its hands over Foss's mouth and to shut them the fuck up. While moon people come down and collect all the parts of Antarctic. And one of the moon people comes over to look at the weird cube for a second, but then walks away with the rest. But Foss does a scream, and then the gold is like, shit, okay, what up, let's go. I'm gonna turn into a flower, and then we're gonna fight. And Foss doesn't have to move to really control the gold, which is cool, but each time they crack, the gold fills up that crack a little bit, and there's a term for that, but I forget what it is. And so time to do a fight, but they're breaking a lot every single time they take a step and chasing after the moon people, and instead they throw their sword really, really far, but it doesn't happen to do anything. And we see the bald guy there catching Foss because they fell, and he's like really, really sad. And he's like, don't worry, I blame myself, because he's actually like really dead, like really, really dead. And that's the episode.
Yep. I will say I really liked the through that final sequence when Foss is like breaking past her limit, and you just see the gold fusing with her and filling like as she's cracking, you see the gold filling the slot and hardening immediately.
Kintsugi?
Nice.
Kintsugi?
What?
What?
Kintsugi? The filling gold cracks with gold to repair something.
Oh. I don't know what it's called.
I didn't know it was called something.
Okay, well, it's... The idea is to make something broken more beautiful than it was originally.
I didn't even know that was going.
Actually, really interesting, because it's something I never considered, and knowing the themes of where the story goes, that's like super interesting. So,
gotcha.
I'm glad that you knew that was a thing, because that's really cool. Yeah, no, I love the sequence. So I specifically picked 6 and 8 because in 6 it was Foss. Oh, Foss just got new legs, and Foss is like, I can fight with these new legs. And then when the amethysts are getting annihilated, Foss like can't bring themselves to like move, and Bort has to save the day. And obviously that was very like scarring to Foss. And I mean, directly after that, Bort fucking goes off on Foss. Like you kind of see the beginning of it at the end of the episode. But, with the amethysts, the last episode, but, Bort's basically like, if you can't get up and fucking save the other gems, then you're useless. What are you trying to do? Like, you shouldn't be trying to fight if you don't have the courage. And that leaves a lasting impression on little Foss, who ends up being on Winter Patrol, where there's only 2 gems. It's only Foss and Antarc.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's why, like, Foss is like, no, I've been here once, I've done this once, I can't let this happen. And then it happens, and Foss suffers for it.
You don't say.
Yeah. Foss has a little bit of PTSD.
Well,
just
as a treat.
As a treat, yeah. Anyway, episode 11.
Episode 11. Stuff happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's my favorite episode, by the way, of the whole series.
It's a really good episode. So we cut to Bort and someone who I assume was Diamond, and I think I was correct, it is Diamond.
Yes.
Diamond falls over and fucking dies. Well, doesn't die, but like, you know, the equivalent of shuts down. And then Bort fights two big Moonies. Oh no, they're big. And then shh, we cut to the title because this episode's got secrets. Shh. And then we cut to Bort killing the Moonies easily, but they split in two. Oh no! And then we cut to Foss and Alexandrite, and Foss is holding one of the Moonies back and is like, Alexandra, can you pick up my sword and attack? And Alexandra's like, yeah, I don't want to. I'm not meant to look at them. I don't want to. And Foss is like, bitch, if you don't fucking pick up the sword, we're gonna die. Just fucking do it. And so Alexandra picks up the sword, and then her hair changes to red. Oh! And then they kill the thing, the moon. And then they look to their side and they see Bort flying down.
I love that so
flying
much.
down, fighting four of them at the same time. So they reach out and grab all of... Foss reaches out with the gold arms, and by the way, the arms are low liquidy and gold, and Foss has good control over it, and Foss has changed. Foss looks a lot different hairstyle, a lot of difference.
Yeah, different face even.
Different face,
They changed how they drew the eyes.
Yep.
She reaches out and grabs the four Moonies and pulls them in, and Alexandrite kills them and just sort of looks up in the sky like, I'm insane. I want to kill things. And then Bort comes... Sorry, I just Bort. Bort comes in and is like, oh no, it's not over yet. See us, they keep splitting in half and they come back. And it's like, get ready for a fight. And then the Moonies come back as puppies. And everyone's confused.
I'm confused.
They're like, what? And the puppies are like really nice and cute, and they're not fighting. They're just like bouncing around like, ha, I'm a puppy. Big puppy. And they're like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. And Bort is like, I gotta slice them, but they're tiny defenseless puppies. So the puppies just fucking run everywhere. And we cut to a montage of people finding them, but before that we cut to Yellow and Zircon, who have found one. They're like, what is this? And then Bort comes by and is like, have you guys seen anything fluffy and small? And they hold it above their heads, and Bort just goes, fucking that thing, and like does the anime vein popping thing, but because it's this anime, instead of a vein popping in her forehead, she just cracks in her forehead. Which I thought was great. Anyway, they there's a montage of everyone collecting them all, and it's like, okay, 106, 107. No, yeah, they only get to 107 because in the 108 is the final one.
Yeah,
the hand.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, phew, we put it all back in a pen. And then they look again, it's like, oh, actually, it's now just reformed and is one big puppy. They try covering, I think, Zircon in the alloy to try and like get it closer to the sensei who's figured out what's going on now and is on the way to deal with it. And they're like, okay, we'll lure the puppy to sensei.
That was a decoy.
I thought it was like one of the other gems covered in the alloy.
See, I thought it was too, but then as soon as Fuzz is captured, it's like gone.
Yeah, the other one disappears, so I think you're right. I think it was just Fuzz.
Yeah, if you looked, whenever it was jumping around, there was a line of gold
I know that.
leading to Fuzz. Yeah.
That's why I thought it was like another gem covered in the
no,
yeah.
No,
like,
it was
okay.
just... Yeah, no, it was just Foss controlling it. It was just Foss.
Alright. Well, anyway, they got the pup, but oh no, Foss gets captured by the pup, and Pup picks her up and is like, oh, and she's like, and then the sensei comes and is like, oi, you, here, and then sit, and then heel, and roll over, and starts petting him, and he's like, oh, Shiro, what happened to your hand? And Foss is like, bitch, what the fuck did you just say? Do you know this thing? And Sensei's like, no. Oh, shut up. I misspoke. And Foss is like, something's going on. something's going on. And she goes out and she's like, oh no, some sneaky's going on. And then Cinnabar, don't know who this is, I guess they're important in some way, shows up with another doggy, and Foss is like, hey, do you think the sensei is lying? And she's like, yes, everyone fucking knows Sensei's lying to us. And she's like, what? And Cinnabar's like, yeah, in some way he's lying to us all. Like, we don't know how, we all just suspect it in our own way. Like, he's got something to do with the Moonies in some way or fashion. Something's going on with him and them. And so Foss goes back and is like, I'm going to confront him. I'm going to talk to him about it and be like, okay, tell me the truth. And as she goes back, we see all the gems are sleeping in Pop's fur because it's really soft. And Sensei's just sitting there meditating, or half asleep, or both. And Foss is like, hey, Sensei, and then immediately just remembers what Antarcticite said to her before she died, which was, hey, like, stay quiet, like, don't let Sensei be lonely. And that's when Foss realizes, oh shit, you knew too that Sensei was lying, and like, clearly this is something bigger than what I'm thinking, so maybe I should just keep my mouth fucking shut. But she doesn't. The tiny doggo goes back to big doggo and forms the hand, and the big doggo gets up and walks over to the Sensei and curls around him and is like, "Arr!" And Sensei's like, "Hey, that's right, doggo." And the dog just starts to dissipate into like a gas, and Foss is like, "I guess he's going back to the moon, huh? Like you want him to?" And Sensei's like, "No, he's at peace. He's just gone." And the doggo just is gone. And it's like, what? And then, and she's like, okay, well, if he isn't going to answer me, then I'm going to have to ask the Moonies myself. What? And then she's standing out guard, waiting for the Moonies to come. And they don't come. It's been like 5 days or whatever. And Science Gem's out there like, hey, can you help me fix this one gem? Because I've been trying to, like, shove cylinders in her for, like, the past month and nothing's working. And Foss is like, hey, yo, I found a really good deposit of ruby ore over here. Let's mine it and refine it and put it in a Minecraft house. And then she's like, oh man, that's ruby. That's almost as good as Papadum or whatever her name is, Papadasha.
Paparacha.
Paprika.
Paparachi.
Paprika.
Parappa the Rapper.
Parappa the Rapper.
Parsnip. That's a callback.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
Oh my god. So they're like, okay, we'll put the ruby in. She puts the ruby in, and then Papadum wakes up, and that's the end of the episode. And it's like, oh my god, she's woken up. This is important, I guess.
Yeah. Paparacha, by the way, is only awake for like 20 fucking minutes, and then
god damn
fails.
it, Papa Roach.
Yeah, but Papa Roach. But when Paparacha is alive, gives Foss really good advice. And then Rutiel's like, fuck, I didn't get to talk to my girlfriend.
Good.
Aww.
Yeah. So, I chose these episodes specifically to show you Foss's, the bulk of Foss's development. At the beginning of the series, it opens with Foss laying in a field doing absolutely fucking nothing, and two of the gems are like going to fight a Lunarian or whatever, and basically it's just like, wow, Foss, you're useless. And Foss is like, I want to fight the Lunarians too, and Sensei's like, you can't do that, but if you want, you can write an encyclopedia for us. That's pretty important. And Foss is like, that's fucking stupid.
What do you think I am, a gamer?
But, yeah, so Foss ends up meeting Cinnabar. So, I should say, Cinnabar is, like, extremely important to this story. It's just
I'm gonna ask real quick. Is Cinnabar, like, an outcast in a way of, like, she isn't involved in, like, the whole cycle of what's going on with Sensei and everything? She's kind of just outside it, but like she talks to them still, but she doesn't want to get involved.
So Cinnabar is literally surrounded by mercury that she can't control very well, and if mercury touches the other gems, it fucking burns shit off of them. And you can't repair it once that happens. Like, you can only chisel away.
I'm so excited that I actually nailed that it was mercury just on seeing them.
Yes. So, essentially, like, Foss ends up going to Cinnabar because Cinnabar lives away from the other gems because Cinnabar's really afraid of hurting them. And, they're also the only one that can patrol at night because the gems, they tell you, need sunlight for energy, basically. But Cinnabar's mercury, it's like reflects the light of the moon and allows Cinnabar to be active at night. So it's like near twilight. And Foss is like, wow, Cinnabar is at the most dangerous place on the island. That's kind of fucking weird. Why would you hang out there? And Lunarians show up, and Cinnabar's like, why the fuck are you here right now? Like, I need to take care of this shit. And basically you find out Cinnabar's like, Lunarians literally can't don't come at nighttime. I'm worthless and a fucking outcast, and I hate myself, and I've wanted the Lunarians to come and kill me this entire time, and this is my one chance, the one time they show up at twilight, and it's because you were there, because they desire... another reason Foss can't fight, right, aside from being just weak, is that the Lunarians like the mint-colored ones a lot.
They like the mint-flavored ones.
Yeah, so Cinnabar's like, at least you're, like, Cinnabar's basically like, at least you're wanted. Like, Sensei loves you, and even the enemy wants you, but no one wants me, and that was my one chance to pretty much, like, die. She was like, I want them to kill me and take me to the moon, because maybe I'll at least be some use to them on the fucking moon. Yeah. And Foss, in that moment, because Foss desperately wants to be someone important, without realizing the responsibility of that. And Foss, in that moment, says, you know, don't think that way, don't go to the moon, I will find a purpose for you, even though Foss doesn't have her own purpose. And that sets, like, kind of the tone of the show. Yeah. The thing is, though, Foss keeps losing chunks of herself.
Yeah, so, I've noticed that.
The more Foss... It's, I love Foss's character development.
Okay, question. Does Foss kind of become a Theseus ship? Like,
just Foss what?
Does Foss ship kind of become a Theseus ship in that, like,
do you know what Theseus ship is? Spooky.
No.
Okay, well, I'm explaining it then. Theseus ship is essentially a philosophical problem of a ship sets out from a harbor, and throughout its entire trip, every part of it gets replaced. Like the bow, the wood, the mast, every bit of it gets replaced. Is it the same ship at the end? Because it's all completely different. But it's like, is that the entire arc of Foss? Is Foss a Theseus ship? Of like as Foss grows, like, they lose chunks of themselves and replace it with other chunks, and they kind of become themselves, but themselves is also kind of a completely different person because it's not their original self.
Yes, very much so. And actually, I'll probably get into some manga spoilers in a little bit, but I'll, like, say beforehand.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Foss keeps losing parts of herself, and Foss, more than anything, wants to be, like I said, important. Foss wants to be strong. Foss wants to be... It's more about Foss finding her place, but has convinced herself it's because she's finding Cinnabar's place, right?
Yeah, she's finding herself by finding others.
Well, yes.
That's what she thinks.
Yeah. So, the scene that we opened on with the episode with Antark was literally, Foss was like, wow, when I lost my legs and they were replaced with things that weren't me, I became faster and cooler. And then she looks over at the lake and is like, like, because the voices you hear are internal thoughts, and it's like, what if I lose my arms?
Yeah.
Will that make me stronger? And that's, like, what happens, right? So Foss is very much just, like, thinks of herself as useless and pathetic and is, like, willing to do almost anything to be not useless and pathetic.
Mood.
And...
Man.
and that ends up causing issues for other people. However, Foss does end up becoming one of the strongest gems by the end of the series because of this. And once Foss has that power, the first thing that happens is they start questioning Sensei.
Oh, shit!
So, another thing that I made sure to include was, in the first episode we watched, Foss saying, well, I'm doing this because I love you. And then by episode 11, which a lot of time has passed in those few episodes. But by episode 11... by 11 she's like,
unconditional love, and it sort of starts to waver as the cost of what's going on dawns on her.
Yeah, and she notices, like, oh, Shiro. And the thing with episode 6 with the amethyst, right, is right before he kills the Lunarians, he's like, you poor thing. And it's like, who was he talking to? The amethysts or the Lunarians? You know what I mean? Which was a big question when that episode aired.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so you find out, like, he's obviously lying about Shiro, he obviously knows Shiro, but all of the other gems are so willing to blindly trust him, even though they know something's up, that they're sleeping on the Lunarian dog. And the only two that even consider questioning him are Foss and, Cinnabar. So, yeah, the ending is basically Foss being like, Foss ends up talking to a Lunarian, kind of, it makes a noise, and Foss is like, I think these fuckers can talk, and I'm gonna figure this shit out. And then Foss is, like, walking through... Wait, shit. That might have been a manga spoiler. I can't remember that. I think that happens in the series.
They say it in the show, because they're like, hey, you've tried speaking to them, you know their language, try and figure out what the dog's saying, and then she goes, it says woof woof.
Yeah.
Well, no. Foss talked to an animal before, because Foss at the beginning of the series was eaten by a giant snail and, like, was basically became part of the shell, but because of that, like, it was a whole thing. Anyway, that's like a whole nother fucking arc. But anyway, sorry, people listening. It's not a huge spoiler if I did. It's like at the very beginning of it would be at like the very beginning of where the series leaves off. Apologies. Wow. I can't remember if that happens. But anyway, there's a really nice scene in the last episode that parallels like Foss walking by young Foss, like remembering like Foss at the beginning of the series, and is like, it's amazing that I used to be that way. I can't even like see myself that way anymore. And Foss is basically like, I'll continue to act like I trust Sensei, but I'm gonna figure out what the fuck's going on. And that's like pretty much how the series ends. Manga spoilers for people watching who want to read the manga, which you should totally read if you like the series, by the way. But I'm gonna go into some manga spoilers now. So yeah, in the manga, Foss loses her head, and they end up using another gem's head that they have stored away, Lapis's head. Mm-hmm. So in the manga right now, Foss's legs aren't her legs, arms aren't the arms, head isn't the head, and one of the eyes is a pearl.
Wait, that's why they draw them with, like, really long blue hair later.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then that hair ends up getting cut, too. So, at this point, that is a big question. Is Foss even Foss? Like, only Foss's torso is Foss.
Okay, so they are going for, like, a Theseus-style story arc with her.
Yes. And Foss, one of my favorite things about Foss's character arc, and you see it way more in the manga, is the more Foss is changing and the more Foss is seeking the truth, the more questionable things Foss does. Foss very much has, like, almost negative character development, like it goes in a negative direction, where Foss, at the beginning of the series, is like, I love my fellow gems, and I just want to be a part of this with everybody, whereas, like, manga Foss is like, I'm willing to separate from them and maybe sacrifice a couple. Like, manga Foss is very different from anime Foss. Well, not different, but develops a lot more. It's actually fucking, I don't know, Foss goes to the moon, and, I mean, that's literally accurate. Dear sent a photo that says, who are you? And it's, young Foss, and then it's Lapis Moon Foss, and it says, I'm you, but dead inside.
Yeah.
And it's true. Like, Foss, like, just ends up, like, on the quest for truth, just ends up suffering more and more and more and more and more, and it's, like, really fucking cool, and it's, like, just this, Foss is trying to do the right thing, but, like, very questionably so, and is, like, separating gems from each other, and there's, like, so many relationships, like, there's the relationship with Foss and Cinnabar, but then Cinnabar gets put on the back burner for Antark, and then Antark gets taken away, but then Foss meets Cairngorm, who ends up taking the spotlight from Cinnabar again. Like, and that's really cool, just like Foss continuously forgetting, like, the one thing that they wanted to do. And then there's, like, the Lunarians and Sensei, where, I mean, Sensei's very obviously, like, the Buddha figure, you know, and they're trying to, like, get salvation, essentially. The whole thing is the Lustrous, the gem people are called the Lustrous, and the Lustrous are more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the Lunarians think they're, like, the,
deities?
What's the word? Not deities.
Dominant.
Give me 1 second.
Pizza
One
Hut.
second.
Manager.
1 second. Okay, Lunarians want to be closer to the Buddhist goal of enlightenment, but the Lustrous are actually closer to that, where the Lunarians, like, look at the Lustrous and treat them as objects, and it's really a whole fucking thing. But and then there's, like, other character relationships that are super cool, like Diamond and Bort are basically girlfriends, but Diamond, like, kind of has an inner hatred for Bort because Bort is just better, and Bort is very harsh towards the people she cares about, because that's just kind of how she is. She's like, I'm strong, I want to do the fighting, so you stay out of it so that you don't get hurt.
Wait,
and Diamond, like, saying, kind of resents her for that.
Are you saying I might be Bort?
Maybe. But yeah, so it's like,
you do hate dogs.
A whole ass thing. The character development's fucking amazing. Things that have good character rating and good, like, symbolism and story, and, like, especially when it comes to, like, religious symbolism in media, I'm, like, all about. So,
well, not even just religious symbolism, but not Christianity. For once.
Well, I'm fine with Christianity in media. Well, I think exploring any religion is cool.
My thing is, media. Like, I'm fine with Christianity, but also it's at the point where, like,
it's an oversaturation.
Yeah,
it's kind of an oversaturation, but it's like when people talk about religious subtext in a piece of media or religious undertones, it's like 99 times they're talking about Christianity because it's a Western piece of media, and Western piece of media tends to draw from Christianity, or in the rare chance, sometimes Judaism. But majority of the time it'll be Christianity in some form.
Yes. I get what you mean.
I don't know if you've heard of Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh, fuck.
There's a very subtle reference to the Bible in it, where the Joker wears a crown of thorns. It's very subtle. You might miss it.
It's like, I think that Christian symbolism and storytelling can be done really fucking well, but most of the time they're just so fucking over, and they, like, just, it's so fucking surface level. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's that's if you are exploring Christianity, I want you to kind of get down and dirty with it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's why I was really liking this one, because I very clearly picked up the religious stuff. I thought it was Hinduism for some reason. I think because I heard a punji. I was like, why is there a punji? I was like, okay, and then it's like, okay, had I known that, like, that Foss was a Theseus ship, and, like, the entire point of, like, what's going on in the plot, I probably would have realized that it was Buddhism. Also, it's Nirvana you're meaning. The
Nirvana, yes.
Nirvana,
Thank you.
To escape the cycle of death and rebirth.
Yes.
But yeah, it's like, mainly because of the religious subtext of Buddhism, because I find Buddhism fascinating, I probably would continue watching this. You
should. It's really good.
Are we at that point?
I feel like
before we hit that point, just two questions. First, I just want you guys to guess.
Hang on. We should probably just say, what? Hey, by the way, spoilers are over.
They've been over, yeah. Oops.
Yeah, they've been over. You can come back now. I don't know how.
Well, it's not like they would hear that anyway. It'll be okay.
I'll put a note in something
it'll be okay.
If I can remember. Hey, Future Gam, don't forget. If Future Gam forgot, I don't know, yell at me.
Spoilers, Future Gam probably
I'll
forgot.
at you.
I probably forgot. That's okay.
I have a very definitive favorite character and a very definitive I want to fuck this rock. Can you guess them? They're two separate characters, I'll give you that.
Okay, let's think. Okay, we have to ask, are they both rocks that we've met?
Yes.
Is one of them...
I wouldn't ask if you didn't.
One of them is Cinnabar.
Which one, though? You have to guess.
No.
You have to guess specifically.
I think you want to fuck... I think you want to fuck Bort.
Yes.
No. Yeah, fuck Bort.
Yes.
Fuck Bort. And I think you love Cinnabar.
Nope. Favorite character is Foss.
Damn, I thought Foss would be too obvious.
You know, Foss is just so fucking good. No, I want Bort to beat the shit out of me.
Of course, it makes too much sense.
But anyway, okay, yeah, your opinions on the show. Let's go.
My son's name is also Bort. That's all I thought of it when I learned that her character name was Bort. That fucking Simpsons reference.
God damn.
Come along, Bort. Were you talking to me? No, my son's name is also Bort.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, everyone makes that reference.
This one's tough. Because it's like, I like it, but I don't like it as much as the other things that I've liked, but I like it enough that I want to watch it, and, like, the premise is really interesting to me. I'd say maybe an 8, probably, for me.
Okay.
I was probably going to say about the same at, like, a 7. I don't know if I'm going to watch it. I don't know if I'm going to take the time to watch it, but I'm just going to be like...
A 7 hardness like Jade.
Go fuck Bort.
I wish.
You goddamn fucking dirty gem fucker. Get the fuck out of here.
But, anyway, sorry. I just had to make a stupid joke.
Uh-huh. I like that you memorized the hardness of Jade.
Dear, I rewatched this entire series this morning.
Okay, that's fair. I'm done. I'm checked out now.
That's fair.
It. We're done. We're out.
We're done.
We've done
Fuck
this.
some rocks.
We
Good night, everybody.
That's your homework.
Good night,
That's
everybody.
your homework, everybody. Fuck a rock. Tell us how it was.
Yeah,
fuck a rock.
Everyone fuck a rock. Tell us how it went.
Unless you don't like fucking rocks, and then maybe snuggle a rock.
Hang on. My lawyer is speaking in my ear and is saying that we have to include, we are not liable if you hurt yourself with rock.
Yes.
Do not blame us. We're not providing legal advice or rock advice. We're just saying it'd be fun.
My lawyer is speaking to me now and saying blame Gam.
Satan's talking to me. He's saying do it. Do it, bitch.
Hey,
Do it.
I
Fuck
technically have some. I technically have some bort in my house because we have a drill with a bort drill bit. So
Spooky, don't fuck the drill. Don't fuck the drill.
I'm gonna go fuck the drill.
Okay,
Bye, guys.
goodbye. Jesus.
My son's name is also Bort.